I'm Anya Robbins, and I have with me Wink and Travis Blaze from Sketch to Animate. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hey.
So if you guys are not aware, these guys are amazing. So I have here some of the stuff on their website, like some of their art. They've worked on like a plethora of things, but one of the cool things is they started their own your studio, right? Sorry, I don't know all of the details, but
Yes.
I met you guys and it was like such a out of the blue, like amazing experience. I was just like that random girl that was bringing you guys like the blue little pendant from my box, and it was at the Sets Labs booth, and I didn't actually know who you guys were. And as soon as I started to talk to you guys, I fell in love with like just everything that you guys are. I still have your little like card on my wall. It's amazing. And I wanted to introduce you guys to the Magma community. So these guys are awesome. I found this, sorry, I like did a deep dive on your website. I found this poster. This is like the best poster ever, by the way. It has like
This?
yeah. Cause
we definitely need to update. We definitely need to update our website there.
Yeah.
But, I'm glad. Yeah, that's the that poster is basically who we are as a group. Everything's story driven. Everything we do is about story. Cool. So
I think it's amazing, and I just really, I'm so envious of like just the flow and shape language that you guys have. Everybody here knows I'm more of like a realism artist that does like people and things. So this is so outside my comfort zone. I'm so excited to do this. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna like switch the screen that I'm sharing so that it's more full screen for everybody, where everyone has already been starting to do their own thing. But before we get too far into it, we are having setting up difficulties, and I thought what a great opportunity to like help you through some of the things that are not very obvious about how to use Magma.
Okay.
So Travis came in here and he's like trying to erase, and it was like super small, and that's
it keeps resetting, right? Like it would reset every time I would go back to my eraser or switch out something else. I'd go back, and all of a sudden, boom, it just went back to the default setting.
Yeah. And so one of the great things that you can do to circumvent that, on the right-hand side of your color wheel, there is a cog. And if you set full mode, so I'm just saying this also for the benefit of everybody.
Full mode, okay.
You enable full mode.
I mean, I have it as full mode. It looks like it's clicked.
Yes.
Yep.
Perfect. So you should be able to find the Open Advanced Settings beta.
Yep. I see
and
that.
There you'll have like a menu, and there's like brush tip shape, shape dynamics, scattering, texture, dual brush, whatever. And you can set to whatever you want. Now this may take a little while for somebody that, like, let's say if you never make any brushes yourself, it'll take you a bit to familiarize. One of the things I did was I took some of my favorite brushes from Photoshop, looked up their settings and tried to compare, and then like copy and transfer that over, and it worked decently well. I had to tweak a few things.
Okay.
On our Discord, we do have a text channel. It's called Technique Talk, and a lot of people like to post like little graphs of their brush settings and share them with each other. So that's really nice.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah. But so that is a way, because then you can save a new brush. And when you do that, the settings won't default back. So that is a way to get your custom settings how you want them. And the brushes won't default back because all of the other brushes do. So if you customize one of the like the general or block and line, they do like just keep defaulting. So that's a good way to go for it.
All right.
So you guys are like amazing at doing animals. I'm just watching and I'm just like amazed. So I want
Oh,
to.
I'm just.
Why?
Yes, go ahead. Why animals?
Yeah, why?
It's something that you know, I grew up around animals. I lived on a farm. You know, some of my first sketches were animals. I find animals a lot more fun to draw than humans. Although I draw humans is just the same. I just find the complexity, the diversity, the different species of animals. There's over 8 million species of animals on this planet, and it's, you know, there's only so many Homo sapiens. So, you know, just the diversity, just the look and feel, the shape, language, everything that you can find, and then also the idea of storytelling. I mean, from a story perspective, and you see this a lot in feature films and TV shows. People, you know, studios use animals as a basis for telling stories, partly because it's fun. It kind of breaks you out of the norm of reality of what we're used to day, and you get there's opportunities to kind of share stories and tell maybe kind of controversial stories that you could get away with animals that you wouldn't normally do with humans. And just I don't know, for me, it's always been that way. I mean, animating on Brother Bear and working on Stitch and, you know, and numerous other animals like Curious George. And then, you know, I was designing Crypto and all the animals for Super Pets and animating, storyboarding on that project. And a lot of that was just a lot of fun. I always gravitate towards animals. I always get picked to do that. And it's just ironically, our TV show that we're producing happens to be animal based. So, you know, I like my wheelhouse. I like to stay in it, and it's fun. And I can see a
There's
lot of
so
people
much
already
in
drawing
that.
animals.
I know, I know. I can oh man, there's so much in that I want to pick up on. Number one, my kid is like the biggest fan of Curious George, so like, and he's
Like
watching. So
the feature film or the series, like the animated series.
yes,
Yeah,
everything Curious George.
I actually worked on the feature film after, I think it was like 2005, 2006 is when I worked on it. That's when we were working on that film, and our studio had just shut down from Disney in Florida, and so we started another studio, a group of artists there, and then we worked on about 15 minutes of that film. So we worked on the opening sequence of that movie, which is a lot of fun. So I got to animate George, which was cool and a lot of fun to do. So I'm just looking at everybody's work here. Everyone's having a blast. So how do you draw in this amazing chaos of other people's sketches?
You get used to it.
That's
what it is.
I'm seeing icons floating around, and then I'm just seeing
Yeah.
drawings happening.
Those are people.
And
yeah.
Yes, those are real
So
people.
it's chaotic. It's chaotic. And so you just kind of get used to it. You just kind of grab a corner, but there's also like, if you want to switch sequence panels at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, there's like a little movie icon. If you open that, you're going to there's a bunch of little other canvases. So you can go to a different canvas if it's too much. Like if it's like, oh my goodness.
So there's new drawing 2, new drawing 3, new drawing 4.
Yeah. Yeah. You could just go on.
You can literally just go to another one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And then so if other people are drawing, sorry guys, I'm new. I'm fairly, I mean, I tried this out when it first came out, when Bobby Chu and then we're promoting it. And so my brother and I did a live stream where we were just drawing together in Magma. But this particular one, so if I'm drawing a new drawing 2, are people going to see that drawing?
Yeah. So that's up to me. So basically I have the screen share, and if I want to come to panel 2, I can just move.
And then I can go to panel 2, and then I can just say, hey, here's my, this is how I approach, boxes and
so guys
stuff.
don't rush to panel 2. Let's let, if we want to talk about animals a little bit, let's let Travis and Wink and I be on panel 2. I will come back to panel 1 and move around during the stream. Okay, so don't worry about it. But let's let Travis present a little bit here. So a little birdie told me that we were going to be drawing foxes today.
Yes, we have a live stream that we do ourselves. We've had it on hiatus simply because we are in the middle of producing our first series. So, and with that being said, we've been kind of delaying our live streams until we can get to a better place with our show itself. But the show is based around animals. And also on the live stream, if anyone knows who we are, we like to teach. We have every Wednesday we were doing a live stream where we would teach for free and just kind of just share our knowledge and information about how we approach various things. And so we started this series called How to Draw Animals. And it's just from a story perspective, because I'm a story artist and a character designer. I started basically talking about how we can approach, how I approach designing. And we have like these pillars or tiers that we kind of go through, because nothing is for just out of the blue. You have a purpose for everything you do. Everything we draw in film has a purpose, and everything's based on that purpose is basically the story. So with that kind of concept of like, hey, this is how we approach this particular thing, it's always based around, it always comes back to what is the purpose? What is the story that you're trying to tell for this particular, I'm trying to figure out how to, I'm on the right one. There you go. And how do, it's weird trying to figure out and navigate through this new software.
It's okay. I'm here if you have any questions. And I just want to mention, everybody, I'm going to pop their YouTube channel in the YouTube chat and in the Magma chat. So you guys definitely check them out. I've seen a few of them. They're so filled like with rich information. And if you want true like professional experience on just generally bringing animals to life, this is the place to be. So, I mean, just genuinely.
I'm just curious how many people are knowledgeable or know who we are, or should we explain a little bit about our background or history?
Yeah, I think you should, because I mean, not everyone knows everyone on the planet. I think that's a very redundant thing to say.
Absolutely.
But I would for sure love to hear it.
It's always nice for people to understand like why we were brought on this, and not just randomly, hey, let's bring this artist on. Well, I mean, it's so for me. So I'm seeing someone saying Blender 2. Sorry, I'm geeking out. Who's Blender 2? I see these random things popping up.
Right. So the stream is delayed. So what happens is you say something and 10 seconds later, somebody might answer. So when you said, who wants to hear all about how we got into this? And he went, me. And then he said, sorry, I'm geeking out. So he's like excited to hear. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I was explaining before is we do this live stream, and we were talking about how everything we do has a story-centric approach, from designing, from animating, from storyboarding. Everything starts with a story. I know not everyone here is probably in the animation industry or gaming industry, but from a animation storytelling perspective, everything we do is based around story. Without it, we don't have jobs, right? We literally do not have a job to do. So I really spent out of the 35 years that I've been working, I spent the last 15 years focused on story. So my background is, and Wink likes to say I'm older than dirt, but I started in 90 on Beauty and the Beast. That was my first production. I was an artist at Ringling School of Art and Design, and I basically started, there was an internship program that Disney was doing, and it was like the third internship of that kind. And in 90, while I was still in school, my second year, I was able to get the summer internship. And from there, I was able to work, and they trained us sort of like the Disney way of how to draw and animate. And from there, I fell in love with animation. I fell in love with the whole concept of it. And I ended up getting a second internship with Disney in the fall of that following summer, and ended up getting on this short film called Off Its Rockers. That actually was my technically first credited film. I did some cleanup on that. And then the first feature that I ever worked on was Beauty and the Beast, which was my summer job the following year. I went back to school, and they hired me back to work on that. And from there, I went back to school again. I spent 4 or 5 months on Beauty and the Beast, and then as soon as I graduated, well, technically,
just a
I hate to say,
casual summer
I
intern.
did. Well, I didn't actually graduate. I had finished art school, but I was still 9 credits short of my actual degree, and I ended up just getting picked up and worked and slammed right into Aladdin. I went right into 16 hours of overtime working on Aladdin, and from there my career just went. I ended up animating went from cleanup in betweening to animating onto from Lion King. I was cleanup, and then worked on Pocahontas, and then from there I was animating, and I was animator on Hunchback, and then Mulan. I did a lot of the Huns, the bad guys.
You've done like all my favorites. That's my problem, is you've done all my favorites. And I remember you like talking about this at Lightbox, and I just got starry-eyed because you worked on all my favorite stuff. Like,
well, I mean, what was for me geeking out is I got to work with these amazing artists like Glenn Keane and James Baxter and Ruben Aquino and Mark Henn and Andreas Deja, and all of these people that Randy Haycock and all these people that I always admired. I got to know them through working, because I honestly didn't know what animation was about until my older brother had gotten an internship at Disney as well. And so after I saw what he was doing, I was like, oh, if he could do that, I could do that. So I applied, I got in, and that's how I ended up starting my career. But animation for me was about acting and performance. And during that time, like working on Mulan and then working on Hunchback and Tarzan, and eventually getting cast to work with Alex on Stitch for the movie, and then Coda for Brother Bear. I learned a lot about performance. I learned a lot about story and how acting and performance and what role we played as artists. And I was always curious about how I worked in the cog of the wheel of animation. Like, what is the purpose of what I do, and what is the purpose of everyone around me, and why does all of us matter? Because we get so like singular in our ideas and what we do, and we forget that we're part of a bigger picture, part of a bigger idea, which is the story. And so the story is what really kind of has driven me to stay in this career and really focus on animation from a story perspective. So after that, I went into TV animation. I ended up I worked on 12 different feature productions for Disney, and then I worked over at the first TV experience I had was Cartoon Network. So I worked on a show called Class of 3000. And that's where they sort of threw me in the fire and said, okay, you're going to make music videos, and this is what you're going to do. And you're going to do them in 4 to 6 weeks. And you only have you and maybe 3 other people. So we ended up having to do music videos for this show with Flash animation, storyboarding, character designing, animating it, finishing it in 4 to 6 weeks. And each one was 2 minutes in length. So it was a very interesting experience to be in the TV world and get to know all these new artists that I never experienced and met before, and then got another perspective of how story works in the TV world of animation versus features. So after that, I worked on a bunch of other TV shows with Disney TV, and then I ended up working with Wink. Wink and I met about 15, 16, maybe, 16 years ago, maybe longer. It was 2011, 2012. No, it's about 10, 15 years. So 2011, we were on this show in Florida. It was called Legend of Tembo, and that was a project where I was storyboarding. I was storyboarding on a feature film, and then that studio ended up shutting down, unfortunately, after a year and a half, 2 years of working on that production. But we had a lot of experience, learned a lot from that being laid off yet again. I ended up working for Disney again, Disney TV or Disney. It was a hybrid studio called Disney Toons. Lassiter was in charge of that, and we were working on storyboarding the shorts productions for the planes world. There's the cars and planes world that they were trying to develop as kind of secondary films, And so that studio was sort of the studio that did that. And so I was brought on to work with a really amazing, talented director, animator, artist, creator of the Proud family, Bruce Smith. And Bruce and I became really close friends. I worked with him a few times since then. But he and I, he was my director. And then that studio is about to shut down. So
I'm probably gonna make you feel super old, but I think I did watch The Proud Family.
well, I mean, there's a second season of The Proud Family. So I helped. I didn't work on The Proud Family, but he was the one that was developing, and he was the showrunner and creator of that production. Okay. So I ended up working with him once more on a. You get to work on interesting projects over the years. I've worked on pilots that never saw the light of day, but they're fun because every experience that you get, whether it's on the screen or not, you learn something from it. And all the while, I'm taking away my story experience and knowledge of storytelling. And storyboarding is really where I got to, and where I have lived for a long time, that I've got to do my animation, layout. You learn everything because as a story artist, you have to be a writer, you have to be a cinematographer, you have to be a layout artist, you have to be a character designer, animator, and you're the eye of the director, essentially, right? You're putting what is on a script to life, and it's not an easy job. It's a very challenging.
How is that, by the way? Is that like how's dealing with the pressure of that? Because that must be like crazy.
It's different because some projects are easy, some projects are challenging, and I've always through my career I've always picked projects that challenge me. So, for instance, I going from Class of 3000, I went over to Pen Zero, which was an animated series. Showrunner was Sam Levine, and Sam Levine ended up co-directing Super Pets, which is the project I worked on later on. But I got to learn about how fast you have to be to board in a TV animation setting. And every show is different. So you're going to have different types of complexities, different styles. So I liked working on those shows because I was challenged in many different ways. Like Pen Zero is an incredibly different show versus Big Mouth, which is a show that I worked on. And then Big Mouth going from Big Mouth to Disenchantment. And then Disenchantment and Big Mouth are completely different shows. I mean, style, look, feel, comedy, all of that. But each one brought different sensibilities that taught me something that I could add to my arsenal of experience to apply later on to my own personal work. So working on these projects are really fun.
Sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but I also want to ask, what would you say was like a lesson that stood out to you as like one of the biggest lessons you've ever learned through these transitions?
Biggest lesson. It's
a big question.
No, it's like, well, one of the basic questions is don't fall in love with your work. I had to learn to not noodle, and I had to learn to
learned how to not noodle. Anything you like forgot after, or
no, I'm a perfectionist, but at the same time, I also realize like you don't have time when you're under the gun when you're working on these productions. So you have to start following more of your instinct of like what is good, what you think is good enough. I mean, if I was left to my own demise, of course, I would probably sit there for years working on one thing. But I realized that one of the things that it was Class of 3000 that taught me to follow my instinct, because it was a production like no other. We literally had to draw a fully animated, fully produced color from concept to finish in 4 to 6 weeks, 2 minutes, with a crew of maybe 5. And the first one I only did with myself and one other person. And literally the showrunner was like, whatever you draw is what we're putting on the screen. So make it good. We had no changes, no reiterations, no throwbacks to us. it was straight ahead music video animation. It was crazy. It was not the best animation. It was very limited, but it taught me to just follow my instinct and go with my gut. And I love that experience. And I never had that experience since until, now with my own production.
Wow.
There's a lot of things that I can do on my own productions now that I couldn't do before, because there's not 20 cooks in the kitchen making a decision on what you're going to draw. So when you're dealing with a feature production or you're dealing with a TV production, first you have the executives. In TV, you would have literally like the head of the studio, the producers, the director, the showrunner, the art director, the editor, and everyone else that's on staff in the room watching you pitch, and everyone has their notes. And so getting past this, just the idea of having to pitch in front of all of these people, but the decision making that went on sometimes could kill a project. What I enjoy now is that with all this experience that I have more confidence in my instinct of how I approach story and how I approach staging and performance. And I'm able to also make decisions where I don't have to have 20 people in the room. I have myself, I have Wink, I have our colleagues that are with us on our studio to kind of make these decisions, because it's us making the decisions. That's the beauty of being an independent studios. You don't have the executives that are the president of animation of Warner Brothers or Sony telling you, nah, I don't like that. Maybe it needs to be more inclusive, or it needs to be this. You can make decisions, because ultimately the artists are the ones that are putting that to life. And so now I'm in the position of making that decision myself. It's scary and daunting, and at the same time liberating. So it's pretty interesting, the the experience that I've had working, and honestly, the last probably 10, 15 years, I've been fortunate enough to pick and choose the projects that I worked on. Like I worked on Nimona. That was a project that someone asked me if I wanted to work on it, and I said, yeah, I would love to work on Nimona. And so I storyboarded. I helped storyboard the last sequence of that film. Super Pets was another thing. Like Sam called me up and said, after working on Pen Zero, said, hey, I want you to hop on to my project. And so I was on his project. I got the storyboard, I got the character design, I got to do marketing campaign for Latin America. I was able to do test animation before the models were finished to attract the attention of the voice actors. And that was a great learning experience. Working on Intergalactic was a completely different experience, which is Netflix series. I don't know if anyone knows what Intergalactic is. But again, all of these projects, you get to meet new artists that are inspirational. I get to learn something from them. I always look at my career as one big education. And I always look at animation like a 6-year-old child. I've never, it's to me, it's what I love doing. It's what I'll do for the rest of my life. And I will not let bureaucracy or politics or big studios deter me from doing what I love. And, I think that was the one thing I learned, is that don't let the industry take away your passion and drive for what you love doing.
I love that. You did mention, looking at the art industry as like a big education. Would you who would you say would be some people that you've worked with, particularly most likely early on in your education, that served as mentors for you?
I mean, there's many. I would say, for starters, one mentor that I had, and I don't know if mentors would be like they took me under the wing. I guess the one person that kind of took me under the wing and just sort of gave me free reign to kind of experiment, follow my face, as an artist
Mhm.
and as an animator would be Alex Cooper-Schmidt. I loved working with him because he was a no frills, just told you like it is kind of person. I think he was probably one of the most influential, whether he realizes he did or not. He was my friend, you know, like everyone else, they were all my friends. But I took a lot from that experience of him saying, you know, when I didn't do something right, he would totally let me know and draw over and explain why. But then other times he would be like, you know what, just do it. And he'd just let me explore. And he gave me shots and scenes of like Stitch that I've never thought he would have ever allowed me to do. Like he was a very giving supervising animator, meaning there are many artists that you could work for or supervising animators that aren't so willing to give up really juicy, fun scenes to work on. But
Ah,
he was one of those guys that was like, nope, I'm going to let you have this and you're going to have fun with it. And I'm going to see what happens, because part of our role as artists, you know, is to put our mark on that. You know, he was really good about being a good leader and letting me, you know, let my talents flourish.
mhm.
Another good, I would say, mentor, not a mentor, but just someone who was inspirational, who I learned a lot from. He was younger than I was. Uh, is a guy named Ruben. I'm sorry, Rune Beneke Brandt. Rune is he lives now in Montreal with his wife, but he's been all over the place. He's worked on so many different productions. He was the character designer for Brother Bear. He was animating on Balto at the age of 14. If that puts you in
Impressive.
perspective of how like kind of a talented artist he was. The guy was just insanely good and from a very young age. And he really, him and I, he taught me more about story during like when we were working on Brother Bear than I probably had ever experienced, because him and I would spend hours after working on Brother Bear working on our own short productions. So him and I would start developing and start coming up with ideas. We would do fun little exercises that kind of like push our story chops, even though we were animators. There was just a lot of really fun stuff that I learned about story that I wouldn't have gotten from without somebody like him kind of going on. Hey, let's storyboard something together. And it's like, okay, even though we're animators, let's make a short film. And so we did, and that was really a lot of fun. I mean, I've learned from Dean Dubois, I've learned from Chris Sanders, and just how they produced Lilo and Stitch, and the iterations that we went through and the changes. You know, I learned a lot watching my own brother and co-director working on Brother Bear. You know, I learned just, I put it this way, I had access to every part of a feature film, right? So during that time, because we came from an education, like our whole entire studio was built on internships.
Mm-hmm.
So every artist was at one point an intern. Most everyone in our Florida studio was an intern. So we were trainers. We were also mentors. So not only did we were taught how to do this, but then we worked on the production. Then we taught others how to do this. So we became mentors, educators, and we were also working in the field. So from the very beginning, I was always teaching and learning as I was going. And here we are. We have complete access to every production, from effects to backgrounds. And I could walk to any department at any time and ask questions and see what they're doing, because they were all my friends. And that's what I did. I wasn't the kid that just like, I'm going to stick to my animation and just do that. I wanted to learn everything. And so I did. I took advantage of that. And I think that's what, through that experience, has applied to what we are now and what we're able to accomplish now as you know, we're older and we've got our own studio and we're trying to make things happen with that. But I have the confidence of doing that because of this experience that I sort of self-taught, you know, it's on the
Great.
job training. Yeah, there's only so much school can teach you. There's things that I wish school would have taught me. And so I'm actually an educator now. I work with one of the largest universities in Mexico. I live in Mexico City.
Mhm.
So I am trying to influence their university to teach the things that I never got an opportunity to teach or learn, which is story writing, storyboarding. You know, these are things that most schools don't really teach you. They say, hey, make a short film, but they don't teach you what it means to be a director. They don't teach you what it means to be a producer. They don't teach you what it means to be an editor or a music compositor. They don't teach you how to write, like physically sit down and go through a writing course. Most schools don't teach you that, but they teach you the elements of story to making a short film and say, go make it happen. These are the things that I only learned by being in the job and in the situation of that production. And so these are things that I hope that we can kind of influence schools to kind of teach more of. The closest one I would say is Goblin's. Goblin's master's program gives you full reign on how they approach and they teach, and they do teach those elements that I described.
Okay.
So, yeah, I've done a lot of talking.
Nice.
Sorry.
That was
no worries.
Tornado.
What's that?
It was a lot, and that had so much value and so much context into who you are. I want to like shift a little bit. How did you guys meet?
I literally had a computer issue. I didn't know how to fix it, and he was working in IT in the department down below us, in the studio that we were working at, and he came up and he started working on my Mac computer that we were working at the time. And so I was like, hey, what are you doing afterwards? You want to go get a drink? And so we went over to my brother's house. First we
went out to a place, like a restaurant.
Yeah. And then it was just from there, we just became friends.
Aww.
People were like, no, because there's no one that's untouchable, right? Like everyone's approachable. And that's what I've learned in my industry is like everyone is approachable. So I just broke the ice and said, hey, you want to go hang out? He's like, okay. And so that's what, we've been friends ever since. I mean,
you're both so approachable. I mean, like I just walked past the Sense Labs booth and you guys were like, hey, what's up? I'm like, hey, So I agree with that one. And it's good to be personable. You'll get more opportunities in general. I found that quite true. Yeah.
This is pretty interesting. I'm gonna do what I always do is I like to erase. I like to draw and then erase.
Travis is the worst at it. I've watched him draw like 9 drawings right now, and they're all just gone.
Yeah.
Okay, this happens a lot in the Magma community, and as I've been in voice chats where people are like lamenting the fact that people draw and then delete it, draw and delete it. I do that too. People hate that.
It's just warm up. It's just warming up. I'm just literally.
It's just whatever. And like I'll warm up in my sketchbooks and throw away the sketchbook at the end. Like I don't keep that because I'm gonna have like hundreds of sketchbooks at the end of my life. Like I'm not carrying that.
Well, I keep all my sketchbooks. I put them in a storage and I lock them away. I don't ever get rid of like my physical sketchbooks. I have them.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I keep everything. Just because you never know. Like my sketchbooks, and I haven't been sketching lately just because I've been developing so much. My sketchbooks contain valuable information. I don't look at it for like, oh, look at how great this drawing or bad this drawing is. I look at it like, was there a story I came up with? And it's almost like just a journal of story ideas. And there's always been a moment where it's like, oh, I remember I wrote something down and I could find it because I kept a log of something that I could use later on for my story ideas. And so that's why I tend to keep things like that. Does the community have questions? Does the community have questions or they?
Blender seems to have asked. He goes, question mark? Yeah, you guys are free to like ask whatever questions you want. I'm keeping an eye out for the YouTube chat and the Magma chat, so you guys go ahead and ask them anything you want to ask them. It's pretty much an AMA, with just be reasonable with your questions. but
I have a question. How do you make a layer? If I want to color underneath my drawing, how do I do that?
You would like make a new layer, so Shift N, and then just drag that layer below the layer you just made.
Okay, I don't even know which layer I'm drawing on. I see it. I'm down there. Okay. I'm way down at the bottom.
A really cool tip for anybody who doesn't know this: above all the layers, there's a search layers, and you could search your name, and all of your layers will come up.
Okay, so
it makes it
created a new layer. Oh, I just made a new layer, and now I can go. Oh, I see how this works.
Nice, right?
I see. Yeah.
Yay!
This is pretty cool.
I want to take a moment, just run around the boards because there's so much stuff and like people have been drawing like mad. So let me go ahead and go see the first sequence panel again. I mean, look at this craziness. People are doing such awesome stuff. Look at all of these animals. You guys.
How many people do we have in here drawing right now?
I would say somewhere between 20 and 30.
That's fun.
Yeah. It can get pretty crazy. This is cool though. I love seeing what everybody's doing. I've doodled a little bit on each canvas, but I haven't committed to going all in. But this is really awesome.
How come you're not committing to going all in? What's going on here?
Because I'm trying to really like listen to you guys and ask pertinent questions and be personable. I'll break the fourth wall right now.
Which you are absolutely.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm open to any questions if people have stuff. I mean, I don't know how this typically works with inviting guest artists to come on and kind of chat away or talk, or if you have ideas or questions about approaches, or if you're working on your own short film, or if you're just creating an illustration for a project, or
so we do have questions. Questions. So I'll just, so you guys, when you have a question, write like capital Q and then a little comma or whatever, and just write your question, and then I'll pick the ones. If there's too many, I'll pick like the ones that I can. But yeah, so Frank asks, what are some animals you enjoy to draw the most? Like, what's your favorite few?
You know, I've drawn so many, especially in this production. So we have a show called ARC, and we have, the ARC is open to whatever species we choose for this particular story. I've drawn probably 100 different animal characters for that. I loved during an animal series, I think one of Wink was like pushing me to draw a platypus. He was a lot of fun. Capybaras are fun. I find, I don't know, all of them, they all have something very interesting. I don't know if there's anyone in particular. I mean, the main characters that we have are based on my experience growing up on a farm. So I have a bull, a pig, and a rooster. And so those three animals are our main character animals, Bosu and Gallus. And I mean, I can draw those on here, but the fox, the fox, I was drawing the fox. I find the fox a lot of fun. My wife loves foxes. Also our art director wanted to be his avatar. He wanted to be a fox. So I made him a fox. So he's a fox. He's now a fox avatar. And what I do is, like, for all of the team members on our production, I ask them, what is your favorite animal? If you were going to be an animal on ARC, what would the animal be? And so as sort of like just to thank them for being a part of the crew, I draw them an avatar of, so I have a red fox, which is pretty cool. I have Charlie Tuna. Charlie Tuna is a hip hop artist from Jurassic 5. He is doing the voice for us. He wanted to be a fish, so I made him a pariah, which is the largest species of piranha fish.
That's hilarious.
So my other friend, who's a hip hop artist, she wanted to be a quokka. Quokkas are really fun and cute. So she's a quokka. I have red panda, quokka, fox. The other one wanted to be a wolf, so I made him a wolf. One wanted to be a steer, so I made him a buck deer. Wink is a penguin.
Of course.
He wanted to be a penguin.
Because they're the best.
That's one of his favorite characters. So Wink wanted to be that. So yes, I made him a penguin.
And what would you be, Travis? What would you be?
Well, my avatar, if you see it, is a goat.
It's a bag of dust. Oh wait,
because you're the goat, right? There we go.
Well, I mean, I didn't realize the double meaning. I didn't realize the double meaning behind the goat. And then all of a sudden, my friend goes, "You're the goat," and I'm like, "The goat." He goes, "The goat. You're like the inspiration. You're the guy. You're the goat." And I'm like, "Oh." So I guess it made sense. It served its purpose. So I am the goat. Yeah.
Oh man.
So I mean, I put my avatar in here for my icon as the goat.
Oh, I love it. That's awesome.
I don't know.
I think I would be a jellyfish.
I am
jelly.
Yeah. We have some more questions. Okay.
Yes.
Does how you draw matter? For example,
wait, did I answer the last question?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure.
Does how you draw matter? For example, some animators start with the head and some start with the body. Like, does the order matter? I think.
This is my avatar.
You got your goat. Oh, it's so cute.
There he is.
It has it. Yeah, that has your energy. Like, that's so good.
It's me.
That literally looks like you.
It's me.
That's awesome.
I start with the overall gesture. There's no like, we are taught the gesture way. So like, but shapes. Sometimes I'm feeling like I want to make a shape like what I'm doing now. I don't know, shape language. And then I can like just take a simple shape like that and then start designing something over that.
I just want to address Pro 17 in the comments. Which canvas is it? You should have the canvas link. I posted it just now. If it's not working, that means you haven't joined my art space. And there's also the link to join my art space there, or there should be.
What? What was the question? The second question?
She said, "Hold on."
Wait. Hold on.
Wait.
They're having issues, and I should resolve them. Okay. Okay, the first link I posted, Pro 17, the first link I posted. Yeah, you need to, and then the second one is the canvas. Welcome to the canvas. Have fun, draw, and here's your question, Travis. Okay. So like, does the order matter? Like drawing the head or the body? And I think you are answering the question because truly, like, I think you're just rephrasing, like, the gesture is more important, right? So it's
it's getting I draw very fast. And sometimes because I think when I'm drawing storyboarding has taught me about composition, posing, acting. So I have to quickly put down poses and block out the scene. Where do I place the camera? Where do I place the characters in the shot? Where do I place the background, the foreground, the middle ground? Those types of things. And when I'm drawing, let's say, a shot where I'll go to another canvas here. I'll go to canvas 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
And here, let me follow you with the stream. Hold on.
Yeah.
Canvas 4. Gotcha.
So, if I'm doing an option.
Get there, follow.
Yeah. Quick. I'm blocking out a shot where I'm trying to, I have a scene and it's, we're going down a trail and I want to place the character. I'm just going to block out trees and foliage, and I do quick gestures just to kind of block out shapes. And then from there, I'll put in the shape of the fox. Let's say the fox goes right here and he's coming into this. I might just do a quick gesture or a thumbnail And I'm
He's like
kind of
racing through.
I'm just blocking out the entire thing to kind of see where I would want to place him and go, okay, do I like this? Do I not like this? How do I change the layer, by the way? The opacity. How do I change
There's a slider on the right. It's right underneath flow, above stabilizer.
Oh my goodness, you're talking other languages.
Okay.
If I'm on the layer itself,
I can speak a different language. Would you prefer French?
No.
Okay. So you take your layer, right?
Oh, I see. I see.
Your layer selected.
Opacity. Oh, I see it now. I see where it is. Okay. And then I want to create new layer.
Yes.
So new layer would be again where?
Shift N.
Oh, Shift N. That's right. Shift N. I can be taught. And so, anyways, I'll go in and then I'll draw. You know, maybe a simple shape of this fox.
How amazing would it be to have like onion skins in here?
Oh, wow. Onion skins. That's kind of a crazy idea.
Wouldn't that be fun? Like there's so many things that I would love to get together with you guys and figure out like what would benefit Magma to like go towards being animation friendly. Like set the foundations type of things, like which things are important, because we have like 2,000 requests in the past like couple months on like how to make Magma animation friendly. Like people want to animate in Magma. It's a thing. So.
You know, I mean, that's cool. I'm sure there's a lot of complexities that go into like just logistically how do you create a community that's animating at the same time on layers that are just. I think this is a great tool for like if you did have animation. I mean, it could be a live tool to do draw overs to kind of help push things, like if a supervisor coming in and saying, hey, or an educator's coming in and they need to do a quick draw over. You know, they ask someone to come up, like I could see this from an education standpoint. Somebody's drawing and they go, no, draw it like this, do a layer over that to kind of show, because that's how I learned by literally someone taking another sheet of paper and throwing it over mine and say, do it this way, and show why they wanted me to do it this way. And that's how I learned how to draw better. Also through, you know, physically drawing.
That's literally how I use this program. So I have my own mentorship that I teach, and that's literally how I use Magma. So you just described exactly how I do. It's just like kind of crazy, but
no, it's
hey,
great.
If it works, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's like that's how they've been teaching.
That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So if I block out a scene, this is still a thumbnail for me. And I'll just go in and then see if I do another layer, Shift N. Oh, I'm getting the hang of this. Okay.
Right?
Then I can kind of go in and block out. I can block out the general shapes of the scene. Like so.
There are things you do instinctively, like you put down some grid markers and you have some shapes that are framing your subject. They're just things that you do, like relegated to your subconscious, that just like comes out of you, that I'm just like, we have not mentioned any of the stuff that's just like because you're so fast.
Well, the thing about eyeline and thing about grids is no different than studying illustration or doing a painting. You know, you need to lead the eye somewhere, and everything is about leading the eye. Where is the only difference is animation is a moving picture. So we're leading, the camera is leading the eye of the audience to where you want it to be. The character is leading you through that moment. And so when you're storyboarding, you have to think in terms of comic style, illustration style, which is, foreground, middle ground, background, grid line, eye line, light, shadow, line, depth. You know, all of these play into like where you want your character to be seen, where you want your character to go. And so this is just an easy way to kind of block out a general idea. Lighting is going to help direct your audience as to what you want them to see. You know, if I have quick shadows, this is darker over here because he's going into shadow versus going into light or coming out of light. You know, I might make this a little bit lighter over here, like so, just to kind of influence the idea that light's here, and then maybe there's light over here.
Like little patches through the forest.
Yeah. Little patches through the forest. And then do you have a layer where you can change it to, oh, you do, multiply. Awesome. I use multiply all the time for storyboarding and designing.
Nice.
So Shift N, like so. Oh, this is cool. I like this. All right, multiply. So then I can come in and create a, you know, oh, why isn't that not doing, it's not letting me do multiply?
You're a multiply.
Oh, there it is. Your face is a multiply.
This proves we're never too old for funny insults like this.
Yeah. So, you know, and then again putting, I like throwing in shadow, like he's coming into the shadow. His tail is into the light a little bit, and it's mainly just trying to direct your eye to where you want it to be, what you want to see, and that's how I approach general gestures and blocking out shapes. But I'm thinking in terms of a story. So I'm thinking of, you know, what is the story I'm trying to tell? What is the script telling me to say about this fox? You know, this fox is coming into something potentially dangerous, or is he trying to stay in the shadows to not reveal himself? I mean, there's many different ways that you can emphasize what the story is. But everything, basically, what I'm saying is I block out, I gesture, I do these things in no particular order. It's just instinctually what I think I need to do first. I might start with the head. I might start with the tail. I draw relatively fast. So this is a thumbnail for me to get a quick idea down so that I can go later on and figure out how I want to animate or repose this thing. That's what I love about storyboarding. It's taught me a lot about, like I told you before, instinct, but it's also helped me really push and be a better artist in terms of composition. So like you as a painter who's drawing realistically, I mean, composition is very crucial to what you do because you're doing a singular piece that you're trying to tell a story. Your piece is trying to tell a story. You're trying to say something to the audience, and you want the audience to see something specific about that. And maybe you want them to see something first and then see something second and then see something last. You know, are you doing a circular composition? Are you just doing a perspective where you're going straight to the thing? And no matter what you do, where you look around the canvas, you're always going back to that thing because you're forcing the eye there.
Back around. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, the rule of thirds, right? All of those things kind of play into composition and design. You know, we design characters that eventually will be in a world like this where we're dealing with rules of thirds. We're dealing with leading the eye. We're dealing with lighting and shading to kind of help emphasize the story that you're trying to tell within that shot or show.
Something that I comment on often for a lot of people when they watch Travis draw or ask how he draws, like, I think the biggest thing I can say is you to remember that, you know, like he has a lot more hours behind a pencil. And so, you know, putting in, he doesn't draw like 2 things a day. He draws like 1,000 things a day. And that times 1,000 years, I mean, it's just a lot. So.
It is. And I was going to go into this talk today because I was going to talk about foxes. And when we think of a fox, what do we typically think of? A red fox. That's stereotypically a red fox. But there's many species of fox. There's desert fox, Arctic fox. There's fennel foxes. You know, I
love fennec foxes. fennec foxes. They have the big ears. They're so cute.
The Phoenix fox. Here you go. I'll draw.
Yeah, they're so cute.
And what's great about them is like you can literally like there's so much you can do with their. They almost look like a rat, but they're not.
Yeah.
You know, there's a fine line between are you drawing a rat or are you drawing a fox? But like
is
you
it
can
the
literally
fluffy tail? I think the fluffy tail would help.
well, the fluffy tail definitely helps.
It's just fluffy in general.
Well, because it's so different. Because little mice and rats have like the little small tail. So as soon as you have the fluffy tail, it's like, oh, that's not a rat. What is it? You know?
But they're great. They're fun animals.
So we have a question. We have an interesting question. I'm wondering what your answer is going to be to this. Is there a difference between doodling and noodling?
Not for Travis.
No, noodling is going over the same thing over and over and over again. Noodling is not bad. Noodling gets you to the doodling. Noodling is call you don't know what you're going to draw yet, and so you start to noodle. And well, actually no. Noodling is like when you have to stop drawing the thing that you had done 20 times over. And you're noodling, you could be noodling a distinctive feature, or you could be noodling the expression. Like, I'm like, I want this expression to be like this. No, I want the expression to be like this.
I think
no, I want to
describe it in as few words as possible. Is drawing is what you do, right? And noodling is what you do after it's good enough. Like a lot of artists can't figure out when it's good enough.
Oh, okay.
It's like put the pencils down, you're done.
I love how much volume you express with so little. That's really cool. There's a lot of subtlety to the way you paint, which is really cool. Love that.
Are you talking about me?
I have a question. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I love how you're like, sure. What are like your favorite compositional tools to help tell story?
Explain compositional tools. What do you mean by that?
So my favorite compositional tool in general as an illustrator is overlaps. Like when things overlap with like using value. But some people it's like the way the shapes are. Sometimes you have saturation. Sometimes you can have like everything is soft, but then you have certain things are crisp and that brings your eye in. What's your like favorite fundamental tool? Like what do you rely on usually?
I mean,
go-to.
My go-to, the grid system that I use would that be a tool?
Really language.
I think in terms of like, again, I always start when I want to figure something out. I always start my tool is, okay, where do I want my eye line and camera angle to be? Do I want an upshot, downshot, side? And so I'm always thinking, what's the best representation of shot for that story? So I always go with the grid system. So if I'm compositionally going at an angle, maybe the character will be, more like right here. And I'm looking down on the fox. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so my eye line is here, almost dead center, but I'm looking down, and I might compositionally throw in something just to give it depth. I might put some leaves in the foreground just to show, okay, we're looking down from like some branches. And we're looking at.
Are we some kind of predatory animal?
Yeah, who knows? Or hiding from, the fox is a predatory animal. So typically it's
bye guys. Sorry, I'm just saying bye to people leaving. Go ahead.
So I'll go in and I'll do those things, or like I'll say the first thing I do is I go, okay, I want a dragon flying through the clouds. Okay, well, what does that look like? I might tilt the angle a little bit. There's my eye line. My perspective is coming from this point of view here. And then I might draw some clouds. to kind of emphasize that I'm up in the sky, like so. And then I might put the dragon right here.
Oh, that's such a cool action shot.
Pro 17's having a technical issue, I think, still.
Yeah. There's without like taking over the stream and helping them specifically with the issue, I can't. Like, I'm gonna have to get in touch with them after.
So I mean, I'll go literally loosely, and this is my go-to is always grids, eye line, perspective. Where do I want me? What's going to best tell the story? Upshot, downshot, tilt angle, Dutch angle. You know, learning the different shots. Like I think from an illustrator standpoint, from a storytelling standpoint, you know, I'm looking it up close now. Now it looks like dirt.
No. No, well, I can see. You know how like certain people you can see. Oh yeah. Go ahead. While you're drawing that, I have a question here. What is Wink's favorite part about working with Travis, and vice versa? So I want you to take it like one at a time. Wink, what is your favorite part about working with Travis?
Oh man.
It takes you a while.
I have to like part of this.
Aww.
No. I like that we're like brothers. Like where we can be real with each other, we can have fun. We'll call and just tell each other that we're happy about something. Like we were friends for a long time before we even started working together, and then we do like little contracts and kind of like jobs together, and then we wanted to kind of do the online thing, and then all of a sudden, like, then it was like, you know, we really should make this a studio, and like we really found like where kind of two halves make a whole, because there's a lot of ways that I can help Travis, and there's a lot of ways that he can help me, but we're alike and not alike in many ways. So I like how, hey, is that a dragon that breathes cotton candy?
No.
It kind of, you're funny, and you're making me think. It really sounds like, you know, when people are like, they're my work husband or whatever, you guys sound like a perfect work marriage.
No, we well, he puts up a lot. He puts up with a lot of me, like me, you know, he puts up with a lot of like, just, I get very fixated on certain things, and then he's like the calm one, and I'm like, no, you don't understand. It's got to be like this. And then he'll be like, okay, Travis, okay, that's, I get what you're trying to say.
Oh, I got that immediately, because we were in Streamlabs about to start this, and I think I was like, is Travis going to be here? And he goes, oh, everything's going to be just fine. And I was like, oh, okay. So he did that to me.
He did that to you?
Yeah. He totally just like calmed me right there. I was like, okay.
Just calm yourself down.
I think he just has good bedside manner.
I do not have good bedside manner at times, so I will admit that. But okay. I mean, that's what I mean. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like they always say, don't work with your friends, but at the same time, you want to work with people you enjoy working with. So you become the friends, especially in this business. It is a big family. And, you know, one of the first things I learned early on is never burn a bridge. You never know who you're going to work for. And, you know, you are like a family, you know, because you're going to run into each other throughout your career and your life. And it's better to kind of, you know, do your best to you know, put your differences aside at times. I struggle with that at times with certain people, but, you know, I'm learning.
Yeah, I think everyone goes through that, though. Like, there's always people we don't necessarily get along with. So, yeah,
but for the most part, I love working with the people I work with, and I think it's important. I think it's important to work with good people on a mediocre project than a great project and toxic people. It's not a fun thing to work with toxic people, because you're not going to learn anything from it. You're going to walk away with a negative experience. Might be a great film, but it's like the level of stress and anxiety that you get from that experience doesn't amount to the success of whatever film or project you worked on. It's not worth it to me. it's just simply not worth it. I have walked away from projects that I didn't simply felt like, no, this is not comfortable for me. I don't like this. I don't like who's working on the production, and I don't want to put myself through that stress. So
I agree with that.
Stress.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It actually is. There's like so many things it does to your body. I have like when I look at my Instagram feed, I can like point to different illustrations that I did, and I was like, I was not feeling great, and it shows. And then there's like different ones that I'm like, oh yeah, that one's great. I was feeling great then. I was under low or no stress, and you can always tell in the work too. So yeah, full agree on that.
So, you know, and again, like when I see how I took a scribble and just started figuring out a thumbnail from this, in terms of the composition, you can see what I did with the dragon. If you hop back over to that layer.
Ooh, okay, hold on.
You can see.
Wait.
Oh, he's so cute.
So then, you know, and again, this is just a starting point for an idea. And that's how I kind of typically work. And then, you know, I'll throw in elements. Some of the other tools is rack focusing. I'll blur things out to kind of give more depth. You know, having things, you know, a shallow depth of field, a strong depth of field. What I was going to add to, I think anyone that's drawing, period, and putting something in a composition needs to understand the basic shots of cinematography. Because it applies to everything. It applies to everything we do as illustrators, Hallmark card, I don't know, singular illustrations to animation. Understanding how to lead the eye, understanding how shots work will really help put more life and depth into your own artwork. So
Absolutely.
there are the top 50 shots that people use in cinematography are really good to understand and learn because you can apply it to your own work. Even you, Anya, you can apply that.
So I'm so like
learn
amazed
cinematography.
I was gonna ask you like top 5 shots, and you said top 50, and I was like, you just blew my mind because I was like,
no, there's probably 50 shots that have been used. They're very similar to each other. I mean, I couldn't give you the list right off the back of my head, but you know, there's various close-ups, there's various medium close-ups, there's various extreme close-ups, varieties of up shots, down shots, tracking shots, camera boom shots, you know, establishing shots. And they
all have a different feel, right? They all have different meanings.
This is why I think it's important to learn from me, to just look at all the classic animations, look at people, directors of today, directors of the past. You know, they all are learning from each other. We as artists are adapting our styles from things that we were influenced by. And I think the more influences you can find and build within your own tool belt, the more sophistication and probably developed your artwork will become. I'm constantly being influenced by film. And also just looking at the world around me with a camera's eye, you know, how can I apply what I visually see to my own work? So it's important that, you know, you apply your own personal experiences into your own work. A little bit of you always goes into everything you do. You're always applying something personal about yourself within anything you draw. Anyways.
Yeah. So. No, that last bit hits right in the feels. I've recently did like my last 3 illustrations. Somebody who follows me saw all 3 and just kind of said like, it's so motherly, feminine, and loving. And at the end I had to just be like, oh, I like really miss my son. Because I'm immigrating to the States right now and I'm not with him. And they were like, oh,
are you going
like,
to the States?
It's just showing through. Yeah, I'm immigrating to the States. But
where are you going?
It's showing through, you know, Delaware and then Texas.
Wow. And I migrated away from the States.
Oh, it's all good.
We're actually going to be at SIGGRAPH in 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, 2 weeks. We'll be at SIGGRAPH.
Fun.
We are just, you know, like I don't know if we talked about this before, but as educators, we also travel a lot. So we went to, we had a great experience. We went to Saudi Arabia in May, which is a lot of fun.
I saw so many pictures.
Yeah, we got to have a really fun experience meeting new artists. And I always say this, no matter where you go, no matter what language it is, no matter what culture it is, you always find your people. Every animator, every artist are just nerds. There's a commonality that we all share, despite language barrier or cultural differences. Yep. We all are just on the spectrum, a little bit out there, a little bit weird, and 100% awesome.
Yes. Like full agree on that, because you have to be a little nerdy, because when you're an artist, you kind of have to learn so many things. You have to learn how things work, like what things are, why they are, why the lighting's behaving that way. There's so many technical things to understand and learn. You have to be a little nerdy. And by little, I mean, you know, a lot.
Yes.
I'm not a nerd at all.
No, you don't look like a nerd.
No.
No, I love Wink will just be silent for the longest time, and then he'll like come in with like the hot quips. Oh man, so we have another question.
Yeah, go for it.
Do you use Google or Pinterest to find references?
I use Google a lot.
Travis, do you know what Pinterest is?
Yeah, I know what Pinterest is. I have a Pinterest account. I just, you know, I just find it boring. I don't know why. I just don't like. I'm not going to go back to it. It's going to get cluttered. Pinterest, you can collect things, scrapbook things, do those things. I just, for whatever reason, I started doing it, and I was like, and I just stopped using it. I don't know why.
Well, for me, it's because like, and I don't want to get into AI. Okay, no one chat, leave me alone about AI. But so what happened is, I'm like scrolling Pinterest, and a few months ago, there was like maybe 1 or 2 AI posts, but now it's like 60% of the images on Pinterest are like AI, and it's just like I can't.
Really?
So I take most of my references. Actually, right now, I love Howard Lyon's photography for people, and I love just Google, just straight Google for things, and then I love Shot Deck for cinematography references.
Shot Deck. Okay.
Yeah.
This is cool. These are things that I can learn
Shot
from.
Deck, you have to kind of subscribe to it. Like you have to purchase it. But they're 4K images from movies and TV shows, and you could just have them. And you also get like at the bottom of it, you get like the colors that they like, the color theme that is in the image, and there's like who's in the shot. They give like all the information. So it's like you've got everything you could ever need. So I'll usually like turn it off when I'm not using it, and if I have a project that I need it, I'll turn it back on. So that's what I use. But yeah, I can't stand Pinterest anymore because of AI. Because I don't know, like sometimes, like most of the time I can tell, but sometimes I'm like, is that AI? And I don't like not knowing.
No, there's a. It still has a texture smoothness to it that just stands out. Out. Like I was doing reference for a production that we're co-producing, and I was looking up references for, you know, robotic things, just what people do robotically, you know, because there's so many things. Because I like to look at it to make sure that I'm being different, and I'm not, you know, sometimes if we pull from our own references in our brain tends to. I'm drawing on a new canvas, by the way. Tends to go. Our brain tends to kind of go to these cliche moments, and then when I do that, then I go quickly to go, did I see that somewhere before? What did I see before? And then from there I go, this is why I'm drawing this, because I remember seeing this, and then I would start pulling myself away from that and start looking. But then I would say 50% of the things that I specifically looked at were AI driven. They do put AI, and I just don't like it. I just don't like it because I know what it's doing.
This is a rabbit. We should steer away from. There could be a snake inside.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
I think what's great though is now it's what happened is they scraped the internet and they outputted AI, and now they scrape the internet again and they scraped from their own images and they output and they scrape again. And with the amount of like nightshade and glaze that we have out there, it's like poisoning it. So they're actually getting less and less good. So that's why it sticks out like a sore thumb. Like it's just really bad.
What I find interesting, you know, when you go to LinkedIn, they're always like, "Hey, you're an expert in this field. Make a comment." And I don't make any comments because I'm not going to apply my knowledge to this chat GDP thing or AI thing. And so one of my friends, Mike Morris, he totally deep dived into it, but he literally, if you read what his comments are to answer the questions, it's complete gibberish. Like he writes purposely gibberish. And I love, some of them are so funny. Like, what does it mean to be an animator? Well, sometimes if you stay in the bright shade of light and you look down upon some bristling bushes of tires, then maybe you might conclude that Waffle House is a great place to have pancakes. And that's what his answer is. And I'm just like, oh my God, you're so brilliant. You're so brilliant. I love you.
It's the equivalent of like messing with scammers, but like it's like the same difference. I love how pink Wink is getting because he's like, we should move on from this topic.
No, like okay, for instance,
you know what that is? The pink is the colors of the frames on my screen.
Oh, okay.
I
thought you were literally getting pink from like, oh no.
No.
So I find value. I find value in AI, and this is where I found value recently. Job descriptions. I wrote in my idea of like what job descriptions I was looking for artists that we're trying to hire. And so I wanted to put in these job descriptions. And then so I handed it to my assistant, who then went to the AI system, or my friend went to the AI system, and boom, 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 boom. Everything came out like within 5 minutes of my 2 hours of like trying to write, it wrote it in 5 minutes. And all I had to do is go through each one and read it and make sure that it follows exactly what I wanted. And it took 2 hours out of my life that I didn't creatively. It's not creatively doing anything other than putting facts that I am fact checking, that I am also fact checking, human fact checking, and making sure that it is actually what it's supposed to be. And that I find useful.
Yeah. It's kind of like before Google, we had to type it. You had to know what address to type into the internet.
Yes.
Google is an AI. Like we've been using AI forever, and they're good sorting machines, right?
It's just the
so
people
I like
data
it when it
the
does
AI,
that.
data mining it for AI is not the thing. I mean, that's and it's still a thing. So
I'm like an AI specialist, so I love hearing you guys talk about this.
Oh.
Well, you know,
let me know if ever I say
always
something wrong.
Look, I have went through my rant and raves, and I just went down to the conclusion is I don't use it for what I'm doing, for what I'm particularly doing. Someone asked the question, but do you think your style of handwriting affects how you draw or animate, like a matter of keeping consistency on model? No, if that's the case, then I would not have a job, because when I write, my writing looks like a ransom letter. It's capitalized, it's cursive, it's lowercase, it's undercase. It's like everything that could be wrong in my writing in terms of scribbling is bad.
That's so good.
Yeah, like it, but however, you know, I am a writer. Like I'm a script writer. And I have copy editors that help me in my script writing. But my handwriting itself, I mean, look at this loose scribble that I have. I mean, I guess that emulates how I draw, how I write. It could, but then when I draw clean, I draw very clean, and I could be very precise. So I don't think it really affects.
I think
because
there's a
your
life
brain,
to it, though.
there's certain life to it, but your brain uses a multitude of parts to make your design and creation happen. So, and creative writing or writing on paper or just writing in general. Oh man, it's scary to see my notes, my sticky notes. See if I have any.
Go for it.
Oh. I'm trying to find something. My wife writes like a computer. Everything is like,
Whoa.
She writes in a very, very straight line, very consistent lettering, very, let's see here. I was writing down a list of things that I needed to buy in order for my streaming and stuff. And this is literally how my writing looks.
Are those
you're
numbers?
right.
There's
You're
numbers.
right.
They're just horrible.
It does look like a ransom letter. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
you know
Travis.
what? I've never heard
I'm
someone
getting off
compare
the.
it that
I'm
way,
going to
but-
get you off of Magma now and slowly walk away.
That's so funny. Oh man, that's funny. Guys.
So did I answer that? I think I answered that question.
Yeah, it's fine.
Hey, let's look at what people drew.
Yeah.
Can we see what people drew?
Let's do it. Because there's so many. I'm gonna take you through many boards here. So here's the first board.
There's a non-fox. There's a Jurassic fox. I'm gonna just say that's a Jurassic fox.
So that's our resident Andy. Andy has been coming to streams for months and months and months, and he always draws a dinosaur. So it doesn't matter what the theme is; he just draws.
No,
a dinosaur.
I mean, we all came from dinosaurs.
And it's
so
amazing.
I think it's great.
It's the Jurassic prehistoric fox. We have this board here. I don't know what's happening to that poor bloated fox.
I was gonna say, is it a dead fox? Roadkill fox? Roadkill fox.
Maybe.
It says help. There's someone inside.
Oh, he ate a bunch of chickens.
Oh, hey, Dylan. Yes, a fellow dinosaur enthusiast. This is true.
I love
should
dinosaurs.
Link up.
Believe me, I have dinosaur sheets and blankets for my bedroom. Yeah, I have to. I had to go to the kids section to get it because no adult in their right mind, for whatever reason, in the conservative world that we live in, wants dinosaur sheets. I don't get it. I had to go to the kids section to get my dinosaur sheets and blankets.
Travis,
what?
There is a travesty happening here. Yes, I made a pun. You can go online and send a drawing to textile companies. You know that, right? And have your own textile print and then just make sheets. You could literally make your own dinosaur sheets. That's why this is a travesty.
Okay.
So just letting you know that. Because fitted sheets and sheets in general, very easy to make.
Yeah, but this should be normal. I should be able to go out there and go, dinosaurs. People love dinosaurs. Dinosaur sheets. That's perfect. Only 6-year-olds are allowed to have dinosaur sheets, apparently.
How did
in the common brand?
Do you sleep on a single bed or something? Like,
no, I sleep on a king size bed.
How did you get a child?
It barely fits on top of it. Like it just drapes across it, and it's the same length, but it barely drapes across on the edges. I was able to get a queen size. I was only able to get a queen size kids comforter. Dinosaurs are just for kids. It's true. Come on, guys.
No, I agree with you. I just think this
world doesn't like creative. This world doesn't like creative people. I'm telling you, they're out against us for whatever reason.
Yeah, we have more sequence panels to look at though. Look.
Okay, let's see
this one.
Ooh.
Of course, someone drew Robin. Who drew the Robin?
Yeah.
Robin Hood.
Hold on. Yummy drew.
Yummy.
Robin.
I like the chunky one. Chonky.
Chonky.
Fox and a Hound.
Yummy.
Someone drew Fox and a Hound there.
Nice. That's still yummy. Then we have
Yummy has a very
here.
consistent color palette. Oh, that was just me, just random.
Then we have this. People have been drawing. Oh man, look at this.
Look at this chicken, man. That's total anime right there. There's a huge
That's
anime.
amazing.
Yeah.
All the way. All the way. That's amazing.
It's a combination between anime and what was that animated series with the horse? The main character was a horse actor.
Oh, BoJack Horseman.
BoJack Horseman, yeah. Like I could see him as a BoJack Horseman character.
That's amazing.
And who's drawing it? Who's that guy?
Who's drawing?
They're drawing him right now.
Who is that? That is Crab Knight.
Crab Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Good job, Crab Knight.
Then we have something over here, but it's more writing. It's a lot of writing. What? Oh, look at this cheerleading dog. So cute. I love all these.
So you have, what is this? Animal School Board.
Yeah.
They're.
I guess they're like putting together ideas.
No, this is great. So look, whenever you guys are designing characters, there's simple things that I do. First, you research, right? You research whatever you're doing, no matter what it is. Find interesting, fun facts, as many different things that you can about that particular. First, let's figure out how many species of fox there are. Then you go, okay. And then you start looking through and you just start randomly sketching. This is where I don't know what to do phase. And you just start drawing what you see. And then as you draw, you start resonating towards like, oh, I like a fennel fox like you do. Let's find more out about a fennel fox. And so I start researching and find fun facts. So find fun facts. And as you keep deep diving into that particular thing that you're researching, stories will start emerging. And those stories is what's going to help push your designs. And the more you can write down that information, the more you can start developing the thing that you want to do. Someone says, remember to put some beauty back in the world. Gee, I wonder who said that one. Who quoted that? Not me, somebody else, another sibling. No, that's a sibling.
Maybe.
Sibling. That was an older sibling quote.
Too funny.
Yeah. Yeah. And yes, if anyone's asking, I am related to that other person that says, put more beauty back in the world.
I didn't even know that that's what he said. I'm bad at research.
Yeah,
apparently.
they say that. Yeah.
Okay.
That's sort of their slogan. Our slogan is every story begins with a sketch. Sketch to animate and everything in between.
Aww, I love that.
That's our logo. That's our phrase.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. So
that's amazing. I look forward to seeing so much more coming from you guys. I've got my eyes peeled.
We've got a lot happening. We definitely have a lot happening right now. We're developing, I don't know. You want to say what we're developing?
Yeah.
Wink?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's up to you. It's up to you
guys. Leave that up to Wink.
Yeah. So we're developing our flagship production arc, which is Travis can give you like the synopsis of the story, but you can guess it, animals, right? And as we're doing that, we're also working on some other productions for other IPs as well. So really kind of building out the foundations to our production studio. So it's exciting stuff.
You want to say specifically what other things we're diving into besides animated series?
I don't want to go too deep. I would say we make both video games and our own animated stories.
Yes, that we can definitely say that.
Yeah,
so everything our IPs that are driven from the stories and the animated series will also be going into the video game concepts that we develop.
Yeah.
And I'm actually drawing one of the main characters, or two of the main characters of our art show.
Hold on, I gotta find you. Here we go. Oh, so cute. Oh, I've seen these guys. You guys, if you don't know, hold on, let me grab. Let me go find this because I need you guys to go check them out on Instagram because they are amazing. Because this is where I've seen these characters before. And he's just like, just going at it. He's just like, yep, I draw it. So let's grab this. I want to show you guys. Here's the Instagram. I'm going to put it on the YouTube, but also over here in the Magma chat for you guys to go check out. Because that's where I've seen all of these characters. These characters are amazing. I'm looking so forward to seeing all this come out of your studio. You guys are amazing. And I want to thank you for coming on here today. I know like it was really nice to be able to reach out to you guys, and you guys were so you're just so personable and so relatable. And that is kind of rare in a world where if you have like all of this experience and all of this knowledge, I don't know, for your average artist, it's kind of hard to like get a hold of people like that. So I was very blessed today, and the community is very blessed to have been here to listen to all of your wisdom today.
It is our goal in life to share our wisdom with everyone, if you want to call it that.
Nice. So you guys check out
wisdom, but
oh,
well, here you go.
Oh, no worries. I think we're just slightly lagging, so we're cutting each other off. But we are, I believe, 6 minutes over time. So I'm gonna, yeah, I know. It's like it went by so fast. I'm gonna tell you guys, go check out their Instagram, check out their YouTube, because the live streams, I've been to a few of them, and they are filled like to the brim with information. So if you guys want some pretty awesome pointers on how to draw like that, definitely go check them out. But I will wish all of you guys a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you guys for joining me.
Thanks so much for having us.
All right.
Yeah, thank you. This has been great. I mean, anytime I get a chance to draw and talk about art and stuff, it's never a bad day. Like,
Same
what am I going to do
here.
after this? What am I going to do after this? Draw some more.
And
Draw.
talk.
The wall.
Yeah. I'm literally going to draw more animals. More.
Oh,
More.
that's awesome. Well, it's awesome to be a part of your warm-up.
No, this is a great warm-up. This is good. I mean, I can just now go into I'm actually going to be drawing more of these 3 characters today. So there you go. It'll be fun.
Awesome.
And they're always happy. I always draw a very signature happy face.
Well, let's all do that as we go. Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right, bye guys. See ya.